What is up, everyone? We are getting ready for a big time full first round mock draft on the Warzone Sports Network live tomorrow at 4 Pacific Standard Time, 7 Eastern Standard Time. And when I say tomorrow, I mean April 11th, 2021. And I'm excited for it. I have a couple teams that I'm going to be in control of and deciding the picks of. So I'm going to go through some practice runs right now. But first, hit that intro.
I gave you fair warning, beware. Smack him in the
toward the end zone. It is caught for the touchdown.
Smack him in the mouth. I gave you fair warning, beware. Smack him in the mouth.
What is up, everyone? I am Mike, and I am on the mic of the most electrifying sports YouTube channel in the game today. Excited to get into this mock draft. This is a practice run for the Warzone Sports Network full first round mock draft taking place tomorrow for us, and maybe it's today by the time you're viewing this video. Recording a little late, but I've been doing some practice runs and I figured I'd share one with y'all. So who I got the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm picking for them. I'm picking for the Cincinnati Bengals. So our first real picks, we're gonna pick Trevor Lawrence, pick 1. Our first real pick is gonna be 5 with the Bengals. So I'm using the Bengals in this simulation. I'm using the Chargers, my team, which makes sense. I also have the Cowboys at pick 10, and then we also pick for the Jaguars, their second pick in the first round, and the Buffalo Bills at pick 30. It's going to be interesting to see how the draft unfolds. We're just going to have the predictive board up, so the computer's kind of going to keep it as realistic as possible. We're not allowed to trade in this first full mock draft, but there will be trades in the future, so we're going to stay where we're at. But I think in this simulation, if the computer trades with itself, it still can affect my pick as far as teams trading up to get these quarterbacks possibly, especially pick number 4. But before we get going, please take the 2 seconds trying to accomplish my dreams. We're about halfway to 1,000 subs. Hit the subscription bell and hit the little notification button right next to it. I'd really appreciate it. And if you want to take it one step further, smash that thumbs up button. That helps us out in the algorithm a ton. Without further ado, let's get into the draft. All right, here we go. First pick of the draft, Jaguars on the clock. I was randomly given the Jacksonville Jaguars, but this first pick really isn't a pick. We're going to go Trevor Lawrence, obviously. I mean, he is the clear-cut person to go number 1. And like I said in the video a couple days ago with the first 15 picks, if you want to check that out, I'll put it at the end of this video, or you can go and check it out beforehand. I mocked all of the first 15 picks. As I said, I think Trevor Lawrence is the real deal, and I feel like he is probably the best at everything amongst the quarterbacks in this draft class. It's a very strong draft class for the quarterback position. But each individual trait of being a quarterback, I feel like Trevor Lawrence is the best out on the run out of all these quarterbacks. I feel like Trevor Lawrence is the best from the pocket. I feel like he's the most athletic. Justin Fields is really close there in that category. But as far as an athletic quarterback, I still think I would take Trevor Lawrence over Justin Fields. Trevor Lawrence has played in all the big moments. And I personally think that Trevor Lawrence actually is a generational talent. I don't think it's a joke. All these scouts and everything, everyone's saying that he is a generational talent. He's super hyped up. I know people like to give that hot take. Trevor Lawrence is a bust. But he's not. Sorry. So here we go. Let's see who everyone else took. So Trevor Lawrence went 1. Of course, we took him. Zach Wilson went 2. And the 49ers take Trey Lance, which mixes things up a bit because now Justin Fields is on the board and may start sliding. Pine Sewell, the guy that I would probably want for the Bengals, went at 4. And it's crazy because on that first 15 mock draft, I knocked the Cincinnati Bengals for thinking about taking anyone other than Pine Sewell. I think that kid is going to be legit. And I think the most important thing for the Bengals is to keep Joe Burrow upright. He's good enough. He does not need elite wide receivers to shine. And when the day comes and you're ready to build that Super Bowl squad, go grab those elite wide receivers. But your main goal here right now is to protect Burrow. But with that being said, I'm about to completely contradict myself. Because Sewell went at number 4 overall, which I don't see happening. I see a team trading up and getting a quarterback here in this simulation, though, where this happens, which could happen in the full mock draft tomorrow because it is users using the Atlanta Falcons, and there's no trade, so they could take Sewell right here. I'm going to go ahead and take Jamar Chase after I just said don't do it. Oh, man. But anyways, I'm taking Jamar Chase because it's going to repair him up with Joe Burrow. and they're going to have a good time together. It sucks that Sewell went at 4 in this situation, and I would take Sewell to the Bengals every single time, but here we are. Jamar Chase to the Bengals. Basically, despite all the trash that I talked, I think Jamar Chase is their second option if someone comes up or if the Falcons go ahead and draft Sewell at 4th overall. Anyways, we'll see what happened with the rest of the picks all the way up to the Cowboys. We are using the Cowboys as well. Kyle Pitts went to the Miami Dolphins at 6. I could really see that happening. I could definitely see this happening. The Lions getting Rashawn Slater. That's kind of the guy I wanted with our Chargers pick at 13, but it's really unlikely he's going to fall all the way there. The Panthers get Patrick Surtain. And Justin Fields gets to the Broncos. This is the dream scenario for the Broncos. They don't got to give up any draft stock, and they're able to nab Justin Fields. That's the dream scenario for the Broncos, I think, in this draft. I don't think it's going to happen. I think they got to trade up to 4. All right, let's talk about the Cowboys. Kind of for the Cowboys here, I have Patrick Surtain as my number 1 option. If he's there, I'm taking him tomorrow in this mock draft. But like I said, with being mostly users, he could easily go to any of these teams right before the Cowboys. The Panthers and the Lions could both use cornerback. And really what sets all of this up to happen is the fact that no one trades up into number 4 spot and takes a quarterback here. Because if that happens, the Bengals take Sewell, and now all of this is completely changed. Anyways, we're the Cowboys and we're on the clock. I do think the Cowboys have to draft defense here. Best available defensive player is kind of what I'm going with for the Cowboys. At number 10, you see all these offensive players here, offensive linemen. My number 2 option, other than Patrick Surtain for the Cowboys at 10 here, if Surtain gets taken by one of these teams in this draft, I'm going to go J.C. Horn. Because in my opinion, I think J.C. Horn is just as good, if not possibly better, than Patrick Surtain. This guy is a baller. I trust to draft him at 10 overall, just 2 picks after Patrick Surtain, which says a lot. I love it when kids are coming out of South Carolina. It just seems like defensive players coming out of South Carolina always come out with a chip on their shoulder. J.C. Horn gives me that vibe, gives me that feel, and he's going to be very good for the Dallas Cowboys, who need a lot of help in that secondary. All right, so now we got the Chargers pick, and the Chargers are on the clock. This is moving pretty quickly. This is my first time using this application. Well, second time, I guess. This week has been the first time using this application. I love it. It's the Draft Network. I'm not sponsored by them, but I just love it. Anyways, we're on the clock with the Chargers, and something I've been preaching about the Chargers this entire time is that they really, really got to draft O-line in these first 2 rounds. Either the first round at 13th overall, if they see someone they really like there, they want to try and nab up. That's a cornerback or an edge rusher. Maybe I could see us going that way at 13 overall, but the reason they have to get offensive line, they have to get a starter out of this draft at some point, is that we paid Corey Linsley big money. The Chargers paid Brian Bulaga big money. We paid for 2 other offensive linemen this last offseason. We can't hand out any more contracts to the offensive line. You're going to be just putting too much cap space spent on the offensive line at that point. So we got to get a solid, hopefully Pro Bowler, but at least a solid starter either at 13th overall or in the 2nd round. It's got to happen. With that being said, we'd be reaching. I would love to trade back here if we could, but we can't trade in this draft coming up tomorrow. So I'm going to simulate it that I can't trade in this either. I would love to trade back here because really the person that I will be looking at, especially since Darisaw got taken at 11 by the Giants, really squandered everything. That's a guy that I would like to get my hands on. Slater, my number 1 option. Darisaw, my number 2 option. But I would love to trade back because I feel like the Chargers probably, if they move back 5 picks or so, still have options at guys like Vera Tucker, Tevin Jenkins for sure. And there's other guys down here that I think can come in and start for the Chargers. We move back. Landon Dickerson, but he's an inside kind of guy. We need to tackle really bad. I am in love with Samuel Cosme, and if the Chargers feel like they can get him in the 2nd round, I'm down for that. But realistically, in the 2nd round, if they do not draft offensive line in the 1st round, guys like Eichenberg could be an option, so I could see him going in the 2nd round. Jalen Mayfield, I like him a lot. Heard a lot about him. But here we are. I got to make a tough decision. I got to draft somebody. My 1st, 2nd, and 3rd options are off the board. I would say my 1st option is Rashawn Slater. I would say my 2nd option would have been Patrick Surtain or J.C. Horn, with my emergency option being Christian Darisaw, and all are gone in this scenario. So what do? We can't trade. I would trade. Trust me, I would trade here if I had the option because I don't want Mac Jones. I don't need a receiver. And honestly, I'm okay at linebacker. We lost Denzel Perryman, but I have a lot of faith in Kenneth Murray being a baller in the future, and I know Drew Tranquil is coming back. So I'd say our next need up after offensive line and cornerback is edge. And Jalen Phillips is a beast. I think Jalen Phillips is going to be the best edge rusher out of this draft class. It's between him and Azeez. I love Azeez. Y'all heard me rant and rave about him on the last video. I think he's going to be a 1st rounder also. But I think I'm going to go Jalen Phillips here to the Chargers. It's a little bit of a reach, and like I said, I would move back if I can. I would take Vera Tucker, but I feel like the Chargers addressed interior offensive line in free agency. So at 13, we need to get a solid starter. I don't know if Vera Tucker could come in and start, or if one of the guys that we paid is going to have to be a backup. And that's kind of just a waste of resources there. So we're going to go Jalen Phillips, which is pretty crazy because that's not even a guy I've had on my board too often with the Chargers. Now we're moving along. Our next pick is going to be the Jaguars. We're getting offered some first-round picks and some second-round picks for this pick. But no, I'm going to go ahead and draft because we're not trading. So here we go. Jaguars got Trevor Lawrence first overall, and now we're here drafting again. Let's check out the draft up to this point and who's been taken since our Chargers pick. It's a big gap between picks here. Vera Tucker got taken with the very next pick to the Vikings. The Patriots do get Mac Jones in this simulation. They got Mac Jones at 15 overall in my first 15 simulation I did a couple days ago. Travis Etienne gets drafted kind of early, but the Cardinals do need a running back, so that makes sense. Micah Parsons, I could see him going to the Raiders at this spot here. Devontae Smith, the Heisman Trophy winner, he falls back. That's a great pickup for Miami at 18. I think that's a steal. Tevin Jenkins goes to the Washington football team, helps solidify their O-line a little bit more. And this is the big one right here because I want any one of these three guys with my Jaguars pick. So this whole entire draft so far, simulation-wise, has been like worst case scenario. And probably my backup plan would have been Aziz. So these 4 picks in a row are all the picks that I would have wanted at 25 here with the Jaguars. Aziz, Trevor Morig, Caleb Farley, or Greg Newsome. One of these 4 guys. And I think that I will be able to get one of those 4 guys in the actual mock draft we're doing tomorrow. But in this scenario, they all got taken. Najee Harris got picked right before us. We don't need a running back. It's no big deal. We got James Robinson in Jacksonville. So here we are. We're sitting here, and I think I'm probably looking for a defensive player here. And without too much hesitation, I'm going to take Kwity Paye. Kwity Paye was looked at as like a top 10 pick, and he's kind of just been sliding on boards lately because people are realizing just how good this kid is right here in Azeez Ojulari. And they're also noticing how good Jalen Phillips is. The more and more scouts and the more and more reporters go and watch the tape. So Kwity Paye is kind of slid to the 3rd best edge rusher in this class. Not a super strong edge rusher class, so I don't know if the Jaguars can get an edge rusher in the 2nd round that's worth what Kwity Paye is here in the 1st round. Man, I really wanted one of these corners, though. I wanted Caleb Farley or Greg Newsome to the Jaguars here. I feel like Shaq Griffin needs that guy opposite of him. But we're going to go with Kwity Paye. This offense should be okay. We picked up Marvin Jones in the offseason. We got DJ Chark still. We got Chenault still. I think that the offense is going to be okay. James Robinson, obviously, now Trevor Lawrence is the quarterback with Urban Meyer at the helm. We're taking Kwity Paye, and let's see what we can do with the Buffalo Bills pick at 30. Broncos trying to come in here, huh? So checking out the draft leading up to the Buffalo Bills pick. Rashad Bateman went wide receiver. Elijah Moore went wide receiver. Jeremiah Owusu Koromoa went to the Saints. That's a good pick for them right there at 28. I think he's going to be a stud. Collins went at 29 to the Green Bay Packers, so they don't end up drafting a weapon. That's going to be interesting. And here we are, the Bills. We really need a cornerback, but like I said, those guys all went already. We could be looking at Eric Stokes here. I like him a lot. I think that all the cornerbacks are really close in this draft, which works out for these teams in the end of the 1st round. They could get a starting caliber corner, a guy that normally would go inside the top 15, such as Eric Stokes. But I'm really looking at Christian Barmore, and I've been watching a lot of tape on Christian Barmore. He's a defensive tackle, really an interior defensive lineman. The dude is a freak of nature, and the fact that he flew all the way back to 30, I think we got to take him here. And the Bills really should just be looking at best defensive player available here at 30. And I like Barmore getting picked up a little bit more than getting Eric Stokes here. Eric Stokes is a little bit of a reach here. He's probably going to slide into the 2nd round, a couple picks. I like the Barmore pickup. I think Barmore is going to be good for the Buffalo Bills. And he's on my list too, so this isn't a complete coincidence. So here we go. Here is the final mock draft and who we got. So of course at 1, we picked up Trevor Lawrence. And then at 5, we used the Cincinnati Bengals, and we got Jamar Chase. I wanted Sewell, but hey, we got Jamar Chase. He's the 2nd option there if Sewell gets taken by the Atlanta Falcons here. The Atlanta Falcons are the only team that can ruin the Bengals getting Sewell here, or the Bengals. They can ruin it them damn selves as well, which I think they may. But we'll see. We got Jamar Chase in this mock draft. Down here to the Dallas Cowboys. Didn't get Surtain, so didn't get the number 1 corner off the board, but got a very, very close 2nd. And I can't emphasize that enough. J.C. Horn may be better than Patrick Surtain, but as of right now, I still got Surtain ranked a little bit higher than Horn, but I am definitely not upset about getting him at 10 overall to the Dallas Cowboys. If the Denver Broncos trade out of here with the Falcons like I think they will, the Falcons could be looking at corner here, the Panthers could be looking at corner here, and the Cowboys are going to be completely screwed. But for tomorrow's simulation, no trades. J.C. Horn could be our guy. Moving on down the list to Jalen Phillips to the Los Angeles Chargers. This is probably like my 5th option for the Chargers to get here. All of our guys got taken, right? Sewell got taken early in the draft to the Falcons. I highly doubt he slides all the way to the Chargers at 13. Slater gets taken by the Detroit Lions, and then they just go on a tear of cornerbacks with Surtain, and then of course I took J.C. Horn, which kind of really screwed over the Chargers. If the Cowboys don't take J.C. Horn or Surtain, and one of them still on the board, I think we're going to have the choice between a cornerback and one of these edge rushers. The Chargers better be ready for this because this could happen in real life. Darisaw being my 4th option, and he gets taken 2 picks before. So Jalen Phillips to the Chargers. I love Jalen Phillips. I think he's a beast. I just think the Chargers have bigger needs at offensive tackle because of the cap situation and the salary situation I pointed out earlier in the video. Anyways, we get Jalen Phillips, who I think is going to come in and replace Melvin Ingram nicely. And let's move on down. We got a long scroll. Our next pick was at 25 with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Kwity Paye slid all the way to 25. That could be an absolute steal. Kwity Paye at one point seemed to be the best pass rusher in this draft class, up there with some of the other guys. We're starting to see him slide on a lot of people's boards because they're realizing how good guys like Azeez Ojulari is and like guys like Jalen Phillips are. Then our next pick to finish this recap off, Christian Barmore fell all the way to the Buffalo Bills. In real life, this could happen, but I think that one of these teams are going to take him. From 20 on, one of these teams are going to take him. This kid is just too good to keep passing up on him and let him slide all the way to 30 where Buffalo can get him. Buffalo could have used a corner a little bit more than this, so look for them to be looking at guys like Eric Stokes. Look for them to be looking at guys like Asante Samuel Jr. But I took Barmore. I feel like he was the best defensive player available at the time. And really, everything other than middle linebacker on the defensive side, they could use some help. I guess at safety, they really don't need a safety. But the Bills should be just looking at best defensive player that's going to help this defense even just get a little bit better when they have to play the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs. Ooh, the Bucs already went with Javonte Williams. The 2 North Carolina running backs are very intriguing in this draft. Anyways, that is going to do it for me. Again, I was just getting ready, doing some practice runs, and I figured I'd make a video for y'all to enjoy. Those are the teams I'll be using for the Warzone Sports Network on YouTube. It's going to be live on YouTube mock draft tomorrow, the full first round. There's 7 guys drafting, and everyone has their own teams and their own picks to get ready for and make. So it's going to be chaotic. It's going to be a lot of fun, and hopefully we can have a successful draft. It seems like everything that could have went wrong in this particular mock draft. We'll see how it goes tomorrow. If you guys want to head over to the Warzone Sports Network on YouTube and subscribe over there, hit the notification bell. It'll let you know when we do go live. If you just want to mark it down for yourself, for Pacific Standard Time tomorrow, Sunday, April 11th. I will see you guys there. Once again, please help me out. We're on the road to 1,000 followers. Just tap that subscription bell and the little notification bell right next to it. It helps me out a ton, and it takes you 2 seconds to help my dreams come true. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. I think that's all the cheap plugs for the episode. I know I like to really be dramatic about the ending of these videos, but we're just going to get straight to it because the draft is coming up quick. I want to edit this and get it to y'all as soon as possible. I'm Mike, and I am on the mic, and this is me saying, until next time.
I gave you fair warning, beware, beware.
Smack him in the mouth.
I gave you fair warning, beware, beware.
Smack him in the mouth.
I gave you fair warning, beware, beware.
Smack him in the mouth.